Its critics, but we kick things off with England in action against Ghana. Sometimes a 0-0 game can be exciting. This was not one of those. Really poor performance from England. Great stuff from Ghana. They set up their stall and England had no answers to it. Couldn't break down that Ghana defence. In the end, it finishes 0-0. This is what the English papers had to say. England frustrated by Ghana. Not particularly complimentary towards a team, of course, that won against Croatia and got so many plaudits as a result. Not the same performance we saw today, Stevie. Why not?
Because I guess individually nobody could produce what they were expected to, including Harry Kane, who had a great chance from, 6 yards out, and somehow managed for him to balloon it over the crossbar. So, as a unit, they obviously dominated the game, but you've got to give credit to Ghana. They defended well, they did what they had to do. England had a couple of opportunities, hitting the bar. Goalkeeper made a couple of saves. But at the end of the day, we expect players of the quality that England had to do something different and produce something special when it was needed at a World Cup. Because England want to win this. England don't want to get through the group, that's not good enough. Or be in the quarters. Listen, they're looking to win this. So, yeah, individually, nobody performed to the expectations that they were supposed to.
How can they be so exciting and electric against Croatia and so flat today?
Yeah, and the contrast, and Stevie's talking about individual players. Let's focus on one of those individual players in terms of the level of performance and how exciting that player was in Game 1 as compared to Game 2, Jude Bellingham, who scores a great goal in the first game and against Croatia, and he's all over the field. He's there, he's everywhere, he's tackling the ball here, he's winning challenges there, he's scoring a goal over there. And you're thinking, all right, he's gonna carry this momentum onto the second match. And we really didn't see anything from Jude Bellingham up until the 48th minute, and it's because he has a great sliding challenge on Semenyo on a counter-attack. And that seemed to be the highlight for him in the match. And I'm thinking, if that's what we can remember from his performance, yeah, it's a good sliding challenge, don't get me wrong, it's a good defensive play, don't get me wrong, but you expect him to be a highlight on the other side of the field. And there just wasn't enough of that from England. And it's not just one player, it's across the board. The speed of play of England up until about the 80th minute was so slow and so predictable, and he played right into the hands of what Ghana wanted to do, and they just kind of sat behind the ball, and unless England were able to break them down, they were not going to get out of that shell, said, all right, well, you guys are not going to break us down, we're fine here, we're comfortable here. About the 80th minute until the end of the match, you saw a different pace and a different desperation from England, and I'm thinking, where has that been?
Yeah.
Where has it been for...
Why?
Yes, well, maybe the changes.
Right, Saka coming on.
Yeah, Saka coming on, I think made a difference. There was a different personality to the team. Marcus Rashford, even though he didn't get all that involved, his element of speed, I think, creates something. I believe the minutes of Anthony Gordon are going to be diminished following this performance, and indeed the first performance from him. And this team lacks speed on that side, or at least somebody who can take somebody on. And Anthony Gordon has been unwilling to do that. And so much so that they, instead of taking Madueke off when they're bringing on Bukayo Saka, they brought Madueke over to the left-hand side and took Anthony Gordon off and said, you know what, we'll just go with two left-footed guys, Saka on that side, Madueke on this side. I just think England were so slow to get this game going and to put the rhythm of the game and really the tempo of the game to their liking. They played it right into the path of what Ghana wanted to do, and they were too late to react to that, too late to be able to see it, to feel it, to pick out passes, to pick out opportunities. It felt that they reacted too late, and by the time that they reacted, the game was gone.
You know, I think one of the biggest problems England have is with the centre-back position. When John Stones doesn't play, Konsa and Guehi are not confident enough to, as soon as they get it, have a look forward.
Right, so everything's sideways.
Well, it starts right at the base, and when it starts slow, it gives the opposition time to get into position. And so when they're disappearing to their own halfway line or even further, then it's too late. You can't really play forward, certainly through the middle of the park quickly, because they've all gotten back in position. So that is one of the big problems. When John Stones doesn't play, those early looks, looking forward early, doesn't happen, and so that just makes it harder when you play against a team like Ghana who's sitting.
To Ali's point, Jude Bellingham was man of the match. That just shows exactly where England were in that tie. And by the way, he said he didn't deserve it. He said
and I agree with him.
Hold on a second. That is the sponsor. I don't know whether it happens in the World Cup.
Right.
But generally, whoever sponsors it gets the player to appear, get a photo, get something.
Right.
That's why you end up with situations like this.
Right.
Where somebody like Bellingham, who's not had a great game, gets man of the match because the sponsor wants to see it.
Beverage company that you enjoy. I may be wrong with that.
That doesn't really narrow it down.
It's not water. Let's start there, shall we? Going forward, how much does this take the wind out of England's sails after that? You're shaking your head? You're saying
No. A little disappointed they never scored, disappointed. They'll all be disappointed individually that they didn't do better. But at the end of the day, this point gets them through to the next round, 100%.
Right.
Phase 1 complete. Yes, do you want to do better? But yeah, this is not going to put a dent in the confidence around. This is just a nice little kick up the backside, early doors. To
You're
push
very
them on.
positive about this, Stevie.
Well, you got to look at the big picture. You don't win the World Cup at this stage of the tournament,
right?
You know, and if you're not fantastic at this stage of the tournament, it's not the worst thing as long as you pick up points or get your 3 points or results. So yeah, it's a little blip, little kick up the backside.
I suppose the concern is, we've seen this from England quite a lot in big tournaments. You know, how many times they get you on the edge of the seat, get you excited, which they did in the first game, and you feel like this match they just kind of regress back to the mean.
So then I think you mentioned thinking forward and what England is going to be in the knockout stage. I do think it is important for you to build some momentum in the match against Panama, in that you start seeing some of the patterns of play or the rhythm or the tempo or the passing quality or the individual play, that you see all those things come together against Panama, so that then when you go into the knockout stage, you're not hoping that rhythm of play is going to be there, that level of play is going to be there. It's knowing that we just did this against Panama, we're going to be able to do it against whomever we play in the knockout stage. I think it's important for England to find a level of confidence, the same sort of level of confidence that they had against Croatia, and that they're going to say, and have said after this game against Ghana, said, you know, things are going to be okay. It's one thing to say it, but then you got to show it. And the only way that you can show it is by playing well against Panama and building that momentum. I think England's going to be all right. As they go into the knockout stage and they start playing against better opposition, they're going to benefit from the fact that teams are going to get out and try to attack England. Yeah. They're not just going to sit back. I think they benefit from teams that come and attack them, so that then they can go and attack these teams with spaces in behind, which were not available today. And what that showed us is that England has difficulties in having players in 1v1 situation in tight spaces, but from central areas, players who can actually pick a penetrating pass. Where is that penetrating pass coming from in those central areas if it's crowded? You have guys that are very good passers of the ball, but they're not exactly penetrating passes sort of guy, like a Declan Rice or Elliot Anderson. Yes, they're good connectors, and yeah, they can switch the point of attack. But when it comes to finding that pass that eliminates lines of defending, England don't seem to have that guy. So that was shown today. So I do think that as we get into the knockout stage, England will benefit. I know it sounds counterproductive, but playing against better opposition that will challenge England, and they'll be able to then challenge back those teams that are coming and attacking them.
Panama won't challenge them. You'd imagine they'll sit up as we saw Ghana. What do you do differently if you're Thomas Tuchel approaching this game, given what we saw today?
Well, to be honest, I don't think Panama are capable of doing what Ghana did, and Panama as well, when they can, will try and get people forward. You know, the 2 games they've done that. That's exactly what they've done. I don't see them changing. So I think there will be more space. And actually, I thought that graph was fantastic. Yeah, there's not one pass that goes right through the middle.
Yeah, it's a kind of that C shape, isn't it?
It is absolutely on the wide area. So anybody playing against England knows that. But listen, that's the way Thomas Tuchel's built his squad. His squad's about pace and about strength. And so it's built to play against teams that want to play football.
Right.
You know, it's not built to play against teams that want to sit at the edge of the box. Because otherwise he would have taken Palmer or Phil Foden or a player like that. He doesn't have any of those because he doesn't want to play like that.
That's by design.
By design. So yeah.
Can I ask a question? And I know we may move on from this conversation soon, but the tackle by concept. Is that not?
Well, of course, yeah. You look at it, and the more you see it, the more you think, well, that could be a penalty.
Oh, it is a penalty. It's not, it could be.
He tries to play the ball, but doesn't get anywhere near the ball, and is thigh high at the player. there is contact there as well as he's going towards goal. I don't know why. I think there's been, and I don't know this for certain, but it feels like there's been an effort by the referees to just kind of play, let things go, which I can understand that that's one way to do it, and believe me, big picture, I said that that's a good thing to have in the game. Just play on and let's get on with it. But this seemed like a very big play both for Ghana and England. Yeah. And what an opportunity that might have been for Ghana. And it felt like we moved so quickly, we moved on so quickly from it. I'm thinking, wait a minute, why are we not showing more replays of this? And why are we not taking our time to make sure that we're making the correct decision? It felt like a penalty to me, but apparently not.
Imagine the fuss if it was at the other end.
Yeah.
Aye, the whole thing was a little strange because the commentators never really mentioned much about it. Obviously, VAR didn't mention anything about it. The referee wanted nothing to do. It was almost like everybody sort of would just forget
it's
it.
Like the Messi red card.
Nobody saw it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Oh, bring that up again. But a word on Ghana, this is how they'd set up their stall going throughout this tournament, you imagine now, isn't it? They just want to frustrate